stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. To those guests who've just joined us, welcome. Our next stop is the Magic Kingdom. For those of you standing, please hold on to the handrails throughout our journey and stay clear of the doors. Stay clear of the doors. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching our station at the entrance to Main Street, USA.
Welcome aboard the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. This is Justin Monorail, and this is episode number 231 of the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. Today is Monday, December the 16th, 2024. That means 8 more shopping days till Christmas, because who's shopping on Christmas Day? Let's be honest. It is coming up, and it will be here before you know. I mean, it's here. It's Christmas time. If you haven't finished your shopping, you're too late. Forget about it. You'll maybe start planning for next year. If you buy any presents between now and Christmas Day, just save them to next year and you're way ahead of the game. That is my advice to you this holiday season. Well, thank you all for joining us once again. So happy to have you here on the Monday Morning Monorail podcast. Steffers and Landon will not be joining me today. It's just me, Justin Solo Rail today, once again, as we've said in the past. We're going to make it work. It'll be great. I'm going to bring you some Walt Disney World news. We'll have some fun, and then you can go get your shopping done if you need to do some last-minute things. So let's get into it. Let's dive in. Let's talk about the news around Walt Disney World. That's right, dreamers. We're back again with the headlines from the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida. And this week, it's a little bit of a light week in terms of news. Speaking of light week, I have an article that plays very well into that, but I'm not ready to talk about that quite yet. First, we have to start with a little bit of an apology, a Monday Morning Monorail retraction, correction, whatever you want to call it. Last week, we were talking about D23 and Destination D23 coming to Orlando in August of 2025. Well, I was talking about that as if it was the big D23 Expo that they always have in Anaheim. And in my mind, I thought they were moving that to Orlando next year and it was going to be the whole big thing. Although I didn't really think Coronado Springs was big enough for such an event, but who knows? What do I know? I don't know anything about that. Well, as it turns out, the D23 Expo is not coming to Orlando. It's Destination D23, which is a smaller event, although it will be bigger than the last one. And they're going to have some more park stuff, and it'll be a really fun event for the fans. But it is not the big D23 Expo that I had in my mind. That's still going to be in Anaheim, and that'll be in 2026. I guess they do that every 2 years. This is my advice to you, friends, Monorail family. Don't talk about things confidently unless you know what you're talking about. Or I guess if you're going to talk about things, whether or not you know what you're talking about, you might as well sound confident. Say it with your chest. Talk loud, and then people believe you a lot of times until someone who knows what they're talking about hears you say it, and then you get called on it. But that's my bad. So anyway, there is a big D23 event happening in Orlando in August of next year. It's not the D23 Expo that we know and love that, you know, we get all these amazing updates about everything going on in the Disney media conglomerate. This is going to be a little different, but it's Destination D23. It's still a big event. It'll be fun. Coronado Springs, or as Landon likes to call it, Colorado Springs. You can go over there and check it out, and I'm sure it'll be great, but just not the same thing. Anyway, let's try this segue again. So speaking of light news, I have some news about lighting. This is actually really good news. This is a good update. This is not a correction or apology. This is something that I want to take a little bit of credit just being part of the fan community. We demanded that Disney correct this. We demanded Disney fix this because we needed it. And I am happy to report that the in-ground lighting in World Celebration Gardens in Epcot is working once again. It's all lit up almost to its former glory, but for now, at least it's lit up. It's working every night. We had a little tease, I think, a couple weeks ago where the ground lighting started working and then it stopped and it was off again. But now it's back. It seems to be fully functional once again. The only thing that's left to do, they still have to sync it up to some of the Epcot, what do they call it? It's when it does its like beacons of light, points of light programs. It's not totally synced up to that quite yet. And whenever Spaceship Earth, I think I just said Epcot a second ago. Whenever Spaceship Earth lights up and does its little show where it's synced to music, the ground lighting used to kind of dance along and play along with it. It doesn't quite do that for all of the shows yet, but it will do that. I'm sure they're working on it. For now, it just goes white when there's a point of light show on Spaceship Earth. But they'll get that going and it'll be amazing. But for now, the lights are back and I feel like we should be grateful for what we have. At least it's working again. At least it's lighting up, and that is very magical. So thank you, Disney, for focusing on that. And I'm happy to say I was wrong when we talked about it before, because I really thought that this was going to be something that they put off for a while. And based on articles that we were seeing and getting to see it in public, it looked like the plastic that they were putting on the covers down on the ground were thicker and more opaque than what they had used before. But maybe that was to make it stronger, and now it's all lighting up. I think Lewis in the Discord pointed out that maybe that this was going to happen. I didn't believe it. He was right. Lewis, you were right about this one. So anyway, congratulations to us all. The ground lighting in Epcot. I know this seems like such a small thing. Like, who cares about lights in the ground? I care. And actually, I think all of you care, because we're passionate about the Disney parks, and it's the little things. It's the details. It's this kind of thing that sets Disney apart up from, a country fair or something. So anyway, magic and balance has been restored in the world thanks to Disney and, I guess, Anakin Skywalker. We'll give him credit too. Moving on. We're staying in Epcot, but we're moving on. We've got some refurbishment news. In January, actually on January 6th, the Gran Fiesta Tour, starring the three Caballeros, our favorite boys, is going to be closing down for a refurbishment. And it's going to be somewhat lengthy. January 6th through March 15th, the Gran Fiesta Tour, starring the three Caballeros, will be down for refurbishment. Now, I think people were somewhat concerned maybe this is like a retheme. They're going to be taking out the three Caballeros. I don't think so. I don't think this is long enough for that. It's really just a couple of months and a week, and it'll be back. And I think if they were actually going to retheme the whole thing, it would take a year or more, probably more. Let's be honest. But just down for a couple of months, that's not enough time for them to go in there and do a whole retheme. Maybe they put in a new show element or adjust something, but it's not going to be a whole retheme. So I think we can all rest easy that our Donald and Panchito and Jose will be there whenever it reopens, and everything will be fine. I love the Gran Fiesta Tour. I think that Epcot has some of the best boat rides in all of the Walt Disney World Resort. You've got Living with the Land, you've got Frozen Ever After, and you've got the three Caballeros. That's a triple play of great boat rides. And this one, I mean, it's out of the three. Well, I was going to say out of the three, it probably has the shortest wait consistently, but Living with the Land is pretty short too. Anyway, you get a lot of bang for your buck on this ride. The only thing I wish is that they would allow you to bring on one of those delicious avocado margaritas while you ride. No drinks. You can't take drinks on the three Caballeros. Or maybe while you're cruising by the restaurant, because the San Angel Inn is right over there, with a beautiful view of the Gran Fiesta Tour boat ride as it goes by. They ought to hand you like a little bag of chips and salsa as you go by, and you can enjoy that. All that would be great. But I've advocated for something similar on Living with the Land in the past. Like when you're riding through into the greenhouses, they ought to hand you like some cucumber slices or, just whatever they're growing. They can hand you a ghost pepper. You get to try that while you're riding through the greenhouses. They don't. But I wish they did. Or maybe, they just have little trays out. You can reach and grab it. Like when you're riding, you ever ride a carousel and they'll, maybe extend out like a little robot arm or a mechanical thing, and they have brass rings. So as you're going by, you're supposed to reach out and try to get the brass rings. And I don't know if you're supposed to win a prize. I've never won any kind of prize by grabbing rings, but I guess it's a pride. You come back with pride if you get the most rings. But no, instead of having rings on the side of Living with the Land, you can reach out and grab some tomato. I don't know why tomato. What else they grow? They grow lettuce. You can grab a fish. How about some fresh fish on the side of Living with the Land as you go through the, they've got the one part where they show you the farm-raised fish. You drive through and you see the tilapia. There used to be sturgeon in there. There were always sturgeon in one of the tanks. And one of my favorite dad jokes, it makes no sense, but I said it every time, was, do you think you have to go to fish medical school to become a sturgeon? Now I can't, that joke is gone. I can't even use it anymore because they don't have sturgeon in there. So, but now for those who were used to me telling that joke as we go through, I'm like, do you think you have to go to fish medical school to become a tilapia? It doesn't work the same. I can still say it. It's a fun callback, but this has nothing to do with the Gran Fiesta Tour starting the Three Caballeros. I digress, ladies and gentlemen. But this is what happens when I'm here by myself. I can just kind of talk, and it's like free association. And I don't know, take it or leave it. Let's stay on the theme of boat rides, and we're going to hop over to the Animal Kingdom, my favorite park, your favorite park, the most beautiful park in the Walt Disney World Resort. It's the Disney's Animal Kingdom. Kali River Rapids is going to be closing for its annual refurbishment, also on January 6th. Now, Disney has not announced a reopening date, but they did say it'll reopen in March. I mean, let's just plan for mid-March, and because that's about when it reopened in 2024 during its annual refurbishment. So let's just say same time frame, January 6th through March 15th. The Gran Fiesta Tour and Kali River Rapids are closing down for, interesting, closing down for the same time period. Do you think they'll switch ride vehicles? So you can take one of those round river rapid rafts from the Kali River Rapids and put it over in the Gran Fiesta Tour. That would really add an interesting element to the Gran Fiesta Tour. It would also make it more difficult to eat your chips and salsa, but it would be fun. Make it a little more exciting. But no, it'll be down for the same amount of time. Makes sense to close down, an outdoor water ride where you may and probably will get wet during the winter months and bring it back before spring break happens, or around spring break for a lot of people. So that's what's happening. I don't usually ride the Kali River Rapids, but I want to say this. I did ride Kali the last time I was at Animal Kingdom because it had been a while, and it was a nice day. It wasn't a long wait, and so we decided to do it. One thing I often forget is that Kali River Rapids has an incredible queue. Like, the theming is so good. I guess that's not a surprise because that's how Animal Kingdom is. Like, everything is just so pretty and detailed and immersive. The Kali River Rapids queue is no different. And I took a beautiful picture. It was kind of misty back in the backside of the queue and getting closer to the ride. There were some beams of light because it was close to sunset, I guess, about the time we were getting on the ride. There were some beams of light that were coming through, and man, it looked like a picture out of Indiana Jones. Like, you could have put that in a Indiana Jones film and it would have fit in there. I got to post that to the social media, and maybe you all can appreciate it with me. Don't make fun of my photography skills. I'm no Skipper Bob, okay? I'm no Andre, Thrills and Magic. These guys have some real skills. I'm no Lewis, Disney Pick-a-Day. I'm not on the level of these guys, but sometimes I take some good pictures. So I do recommend you got to follow us at Morning Monorail on Instagram. And if you join the Facebook group, I sometimes post the pictures there too. That's Monday Morning Monorail fam on Facebook. Either way, follow us on things and I'll post things and you can see them. That's how it works. That's how social media works. Usually you follow someone, they post things, you see them. You can react to them. You could like them and you can make comments. While we're doing this free association thing, and I'm here by myself and no one can tell me not to say this, I'm going to say this now. Here is a hill I will die on. And I feel like this is part of social media etiquette that some people just don't get. If you are going to comment on someone's post, say you're on Blue Sky, because we don't do X anymore. We're on Blue Sky or even Instagram or whatever it is. If you're going to comment on someone's post, you should probably give it a like, unless you are commenting because you don't like what that person posted or said. Now, that's different. That's how someone gets ratioed. If you ever heard this term, I didn't even know what it was. It happens to me all the time, though, because I happen to have a lot, not that I say things people don't like or post things people don't like. I feel like I have a lot of friends who don't get this, that they're going to say something or make a joke. That to me is one of the worst things. You post something you think is funny or even just something you're being honest about. They jump into your comments and make a joke. They don't even give you a like on the post. And then they get likes for their joke. It's like, what is this? What kind of world are we living in where you get to come in. It's like stolen valor. I started the thread. You come in and like fart in the room, and then you get a round of applause, and everybody's like, why are we here? What even brought us here? You're the funny guy. You farted in the room. Why do I care about this? I don't know. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It matters to me. So here's what I'm going to say. And this is my statement for 2024 in review. Think about your friends that post things on social media. Support them by giving them a like. Whether you reshare it or comment or whatever, give them a like. And then you can do whatever you want. If you just jump in the comments, you're ratioing them. And what that means is they got more comments than they got likes. And usually that's for someone who says something bigoted or racist or sexist. Feel free to ratio that person. Get in the comments. Tell them they're stupid. And you can fart. Whatever you want to do. Don't give them a like because they said something stupid. I say funny things frequently on social media. Anyway, we should move on. Kali River Rapids. I do want to say this last time I rode it, I didn't get super wet. I got lucky. And it's I know that sometimes we bag on Kali River Rapids. It's a fun ride. It's just, you can ride river rapid rides in a lot of different parks around the world. And this one, it doesn't even have the theming it was supposed to have. It doesn't have the story it was supposed to have when it was originally conceived. If Disney had put their full backing and full budget into this ride and built it out the way that it was supposed to be, it could have been epic. Because I believe that when Disney wants to, they can make the best version of any ride, even if it is a standard ride out there that you could see. I mean, like an example, carousels, right? Disney can make amazing carousels, or a Ferris wheel or whatever they want to make. They can make it, Disneyfy it and make it great. You can ride those things anywhere, but you ride it at Disney, it's a special thing. So I feel like they could have done that with Kali River Rapids. I guess the argument would be it's still a fun ride either way. Sure, but for me, Disney's about theming, storytelling, immersion. On this ride, it's really just a fun water ride and you get wet. That's all it really is. It looks nice. I don't hate it, and I do not hate you if you love it. I support you, and I celebrate your right to love the Kali River Rapids. It's just not my thing. Okay? Oh, get off my back about it and give me a like. Subscribe. I promise I haven't been drinking this morning. I've got coffee, and it's my first coffee, and I'm drinking it out of a Animal Kingdom Lodge mug. It's beautiful. All right. I hit the mic with my mug. Let's move on. Still in Animal Kingdom. We're going to stay in Animal Kingdom for this one. A new segment has been added to the Tree of Life Awakenings at Disney's Animal Kingdom, debuting tonight when this article was written. I don't know when it was written. It features the story of Mufasa from The Lion King. It's a limited time edition focusing on Mufasa's rise from a young cub to the king of the pride, told through projections on the Tree of Life, accompanied by a new musical score. The Tree of Life Awakenings run after dark around 6 p.m., and the show happens every 10 minutes until the park closes. The Mufasa segment plays before the ongoing holiday theme version of Tree of Life Awakenings. So catch it in the 30 minutes that Disney's Animal Kingdom is still open after the sun goes down. You can go look at the tree, enjoy the projections, and get the heck out of there because the park does not stay open very late, very often. But it's cool. If you've never had a chance to see it, it's a fun thing to see. It's not like a epic nighttime spectacular, which that park is still desperately missing, desperately in need of. And I guess you don't need it if the park doesn't stay open at night. You don't need a nighttime spectacular. You know, they used to do a parade in the Animal Kingdom. I would love it if they brought a parade back. I think that the whole reason that they don't is because it causes logistical problems. Park flow, like crowd flow moving around the park, it's a real problem because some of the pathways just aren't very wide and you're kind of shutting down flow of traffic for a parade. But I don't know, it needs something. It needs, you know what it needs? It needs kite tails. Bring back kite tails and we'll all be happy. Why did that have to go away? Can someone explain that to me? It made me smile. All you really need is to see these giant characters flying through the air, you know, made out of kite material, making a few circles around the Rivers of Light Lagoon out there, and then crashing into the stands. Luckily, where no one was sitting, but just doing headers right into the seats. It was pretty epic, and I miss it. I think a lot of people miss it. To me, it seems like what could the cost of running a show like that be? The fuel for the jet skis. Maybe repairing the kites every now and then, you know, paying the the drivers, the kite flyers and the jet ski drivers. I would say it was somewhat minimal, and I'm sad that it's gone. Let's all pour one out for Kite Tales. But as we look to the past and remember things we love, we can look to the future and think about exciting things that are coming. Last week, we talked about a lot of new things that are going to be opening around Walt Disney World in 2025. But you can't forget the annual festivals that occur in Epcot every single year. You know, you've got Festival of the Arts, you've got Flower and Garden, you've got Food and Wine, and then you've got the Festival of the Holidays, your 4 seasonal festivals. And we finally do have dates for the 2025 Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival. This is the 30th anniversary. Very exciting. So you know they're going to do some cool stuff for it. But the dates are as follows. The Flower and Garden Festival will bloom and grow at Walt Disney World from March 5th to June 2nd, 2025. And here's what Disney said about it. 30 years of floral family fun. The Epcot International Flower and Garden Festival may have already taken root in your mind as the time of year when the park is full of beautiful character topiaries, delightful gardens, and delicious menus full of grown goodness. And in 2025, we're celebrating 30 years of Flower and Garden. That's right. 3 decades of planting, propagating, and producing memories between friends and family visiting Epcot at its springtime best. There's so much to enjoy. Ugh. Disney, why did you make me say that? Live music will return as part of the International Flower and Garden Festival. And over in the American Gardens Theater, you can catch some concerts as part of the Garden Rocks series. Disney did announce some of the acts that will be performing at the Garden Rock series this year. And here's what we have so far. These are March dates. March 7th and 8th, you can see Tommy DiCarlo, former lead singer of Boston. I wonder if he'll sing More Than a Feeling. March 9th and 10th, you can see Air Supply, 50th anniversary celebration. March 14th and 15th, Blue October. March 16th and 17th, Rick Springfield. March 21st and 22nd, Herman's Hermits, starring Peter Noon. I don't know if I shared this on the show before, but Herman's Hermits, I think, was the first concert that I ever attended. Now, I don't remember it, keep in mind, but I think my parents took me to see Herman's Hermits and the Monkees in Knoxville, and I was way small, but I have like vague memories of it, but it's mostly like yelling and lights. That's all I can remember, but I do know I was there. March 23rd and 24th, 38 Special will be performing, and then March 28th and 29th, Jason Scheff, longtime singer of Chicago. With a name like Scheff, shouldn't he be in one of those Flower and Garden booths, doling out some delicious entrees and appetizers? He missed his calling. Anyway, longtime singer of Chicago, and don't you love that song More Than a Feeling? Oh, man. I feel like I've had more than a feeling today. I hope you've had more than a feeling today and enjoyed this recap of Walt Disney World news for the week of December 16th, 2024. Before we wrap up, a couple things I want to talk about. Number one, you need to follow us on all of our socials. Of course, I've mentioned at Morning Monorail. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We just had a TikTok. Stephers posted a TikTok that just blew up, and we're going viral. So be part of that. We have a Facebook group called the Monday Morning Monorail Fam, and we have a Discord where we can chat all week long. You can chat with your fellow Monday Morning Monorail Fam members, and there's a link on the Facebook, but if you want access to that, you can always send us a DM. We'll send you a link if you want to join the Discord. So lots of ways to get involved. We have a YouTube channel, too. We haven't posted anything there in just a little bit. We're still working out some details on how to do the video for this show and a way to make it dynamic and fun and something you want to see. So check back. Go ahead and subscribe to, I'll never tell you not to subscribe to the Monday Morning Monorail on YouTube because you don't want to miss something. And sometimes we go live and we're going to plan some of that in 2025. Next week might be a good time to sort of talk about plans for the podcast for 25, New Year's resolutions, all that sort of thing. Maybe we will. All right. So that's the social media and the plugs and all of that. The last thing I want to remind you of is Landon is doing a fundraiser for his 40th birthday. Landon will turn 40 on April 1st of 2025. And as part of that, he is raising money for the Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee with money earmarked for the Food for Kids program. We're doing a little fundraiser. It's called Living with the Landon. So his plan is on April 1st of 2025, Landon is going to be in Epcot where they will be celebrating the International Flower and Garden Festival. And he is going to marathon ride Living with the Land all day long. See how many rides he can get in. Now, what you can do to sponsor him is you can say, I will sponsor you $1, $2, $100 for every single time, every circuit you make on Living with the Land. And then Landon on April 1st, 2025, will ride Living with the Land as many times as you can. We will report back to you, hey, Landon completed 30 rides. It won't be that many on Living with the Land. So you sponsored $1 per ride. That's a $30 donation to the Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee. And we'll give you all the details of how you do this. You'll be able to make the donation and earmark it for the Living with the Landon program, which will put the money where it needs to be. We also have merchandise that if you buy Living with the Landon merchandise, that the proceeds from that over and above the cost will go to Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee. So a couple different ways that you can get involved. Lots of information. If you want to check out, details and keep plugged in to all the goings on of the Monday Morning Monorail, go to dismornings.com. That's dismornings with an S.com. And you can find links to the show, our YouTube, blogs posted by Nate and Steffers, latest news, rumors, and links to the Living with the Landon fundraiser. So you can check all of that out, dismornings.com. Don't forget, we can be your travel agent. Steffers and Nate are both certified travel agents, and we have a form that you can fill out on the dismornings.com website. If you would like Steffers or Nate to help you out and plan your next vacation, it doesn't even have to be to Walt Disney World. It could be a cruise. It could be to Universal, maybe thinking about going to Epic, whatever you want to do. Fill out the form. We'll get back to you, and this is a fee-free service. You don't pay Steffers and Landon Steffers and Nate. Have I been saying Landon? Oh my God. Steffers and Nate. You don't pay them for the service. They do the service. And then whenever your vacation's booked, either Disney, Universal, or whoever will reimburse Steffers and Nate or pay them a bit of a commission on your vacation. So they can help you out. They can find the best deals for you, help you plan your days and put you in the best resorts and help you book whatever you need and give you advice. Don't take on all that responsibility. It can be overwhelming if you do it by yourself. If you let Steffers or Nate help you out, then it takes a lot of that off your shoulders, give you some peace of mind. You know you're going to be getting good deals and you'll be taken care of by some good people. And we appreciate that. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Don't forget, you can follow Landon on Blue Sky. He's THEDOZ on Blue Sky. Steffers is Adventures with Steffers pretty much everywhere. And I am Justin Monorail, no space on Blue Sky, Justin_Monorail if you want to follow me on Instagram or TikTok. And we'll talk to you then. I appreciate you joining me today. Thanks for putting up with me just sitting here talking all by myself. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, come back next week. Make sure you tell a friend. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to us, because it really does help the show. 5 stars if you've got it in your heart. That's our Christmas wish. But regardless, I hope you come back here next week. And until then, thank a team member, thank a cast member, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.